Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and it's book tag time. So, you're probably wondering, what book tag are we going to do this time? Well, the I am desperate for content search turned up the book cake tag. And so I thought, I like cake. Everybody likes cake. So let's do the book cake tag. So the first prompt in the tag is Flower, a book that started slow but then picked up. And for that, I'm going to choose The Innkeeper of Ivy Hill by Julie Klassen. It is the first book in the Tales from Ivy Hill series. This was a Dave 24 and 24 book for me. And this is definitely a book that starts off slow and then gradually throughout the book picks up pace. And it's actually quite lovely that it starts off slow. If this had started off with a bang, it would not have fit the tone and tenor of the book well at all. Instead, the slow pace truly works for this book, and it was just a joy. It was absolutely just a joy to read. Okay, prompt number 2. I have changed. According to the tag, it's supposed to be margarine, which I do not like, I do not use, do not ever purchase. So I've changed it to butter for obvious reasons, because in every respect, butter is better. A book with a rich and great plot. And that I chose Veiled in Smoke by Jocelyn Green. As you know, this was the January book club choice for 2024. It is the first book in the Windy City Saga series, and it is fabulous. I have left all of my annotations in the book, and this was just very reminiscent of you get Little Women vibes out of it. You also can see Job in this story, and I absolutely loved this book. I love that it wasn't set in New York or, a European city. It's set in Chicago right after the Great Fire. And I will link my review for the book down below. Did I hear the trash man? So this was definitely well worth the investment and the reading time. It was and is a fabulous story, and I need to finish the trilogy. They're sitting on my shelves. I just haven't had a chance to pick them up yet. Okay, prompt number 3, eggs. Thought that it was going to be bad, but it turned out great. This isn't necessarily that I thought it was going to be bad. I loved the series on Amazon, and it was a question of, is it going... Oh, why did I film on a Tuesday? So anyway, I loved the series on Amazon, and it was one of those, I hadn't read the book before I watched the series, which is, yes, I know, very odd for me. However, so it became one of those, is the book going to be as good as or better than the series? I was leery, but it turned out that the Dave 24 and 24 pick proved me wrong, and the book was far better than I anticipated it to be. That is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. I have books 2 through 5 and book 9, so I need 6 through 8, I believe, still to finish out the series, and then I can just sit down and binge them all, like, one book a month next year. This is just a delicious, wonderful space opera, sci-fi, adventure, mystery, just everything I look forward to in a space sci-fi book. Is it going to be for everybody? No. Is there more language in here than I would prefer? Absolutely there is. Is it going to prevent me from reading the books? Absolutely not. I loved this big old chunker of a book. All of them are big old chunky books, and that is okay with me. So, that's eggs. Next prompt is sugar. Sugary sweet. I don't really read overly sweet in tone books, like, overly saccharine books just don't work for me. However, I did go ahead and pick a book about baking. It's not going to be a surprise. It's a Hannah Swenson book by Joanne Fluke. This is Coconut Layer Cake, which I love, by the way. I do not recall reading this book, so I shall endeavor to do that. It has some delicious recipes in it, including coconut layer cake, coconut lemon frosting. Oh yes, please. Chocolate cake in a mug. Corned beef and pepper jack quiche. Okay. This book just grew on my list because those sound very delicious, and yeah. What number is this in the Hannah Swenson series? I am not going to count. It doesn't say, of course. Kensington needs to do better. Okay. Prompt number 5, Icing. Covered every single element you enjoy in a book. This is a very broad prompt, and I don't think any one book could adequately cover every single element I love in a book. However, I did choose a book for this prompt, and I chose Counterfeit Love by Crystal Cadell. This is historical romantic fiction. It's suspense fiction at that, and it is Christian fiction at that as well. It is published by Kriegel Publications. It is the first book in the Hearts of the Gilded Age series, Hidden Hearts of the Gilded Age series. I read this earlier this year. Books 2 and 3 are sitting on my shelf waiting to be read. I'm saying that far too often. This has romance. It has faith. It is a great plotted show me, not tell me mystery. There's plenty of suspense. There's plenty of cliffhangers. It has exceptional character work. This book, while it doesn't have everything I love in a book, it has a good number of things I love in books. And the character work in here is superb. It draws you in from the beginning, and it doesn't let go until the end. So, Icing. 6, Sprinkles. A series you can turn to for a pick-me-up. And that is the Reverend Mother series by Cora Harrison. And this is the first book in the series, at least from Severn House. And that is A Shameful Murder. Yeah, it is the first book. I will read you the prompt or the inside flap. Cork, Ireland, 1923. When one wet March morning, Reverend Mother Aquinas discovers a body at the gate of the convent chapel, washed up after a flood like a mermaid in gleaming silver satin. She immediately sends for one of her former pupils, Police Sergeant Patrick Cashman, to investigate. Dead bodies are not unusual in the poverty-stricken slums of Cork, but this one is dressed in evening finery. In her handbag is a dance program for the exclusive merchants' ball held the previous evening, and a midnight ticket for the Liverpool ferry. Amidst the backdrop of a country in the midst of Ireland's civil war, the Reverend Mother, Sergeant Cashman, and Dr. Schreier, an enlightened physician and friend, seek out the truth as to the identity of the victim and her killer. I have read this one. I have loved this book. I cherish these. Her writing is terrific. Her writing is evocative and atmospheric, and she draws you into her character work very, very well. If I need a good historical pick-me-up cozy, Cora Harrison is a very reliable author, in my opinion. And the last prompt for this book tag is the cherry on top. Favorite book so far this year? Now, I haven't decided yet. I don't know what my favorite book so far this year is. I do know that two choices for favorite book of the year so far are these two, and they are bookends of the Cold War. So first up would be Miss Graham's Cold War Kitchen or Cookbook by Celia Reese and I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. These are both incredibly impactful, life-changing reads. I fell in love with Ruta Sepetys' writing in this book and its portrayal of the end of communism in Romania. This is just an absolutely fabulous read. Miss Graham's Cold War Cookbook is, I don't say this very often, it is one of those books I think everybody should read, and you will need to talk to somebody as you read it. It is not an easy read, but it is a truly important fictional read, and I loved it. So these two are definitely in the running for Book of the Year. Do I know what that's going to be right now? I do not. I had several choices. I have no particular favorite at this point this year so far. But I have read a lot of very good books this year. So, see me in December and I'll let you know what the Book of the Year is. Because right now I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what the Book of the Year is. So that is the book cake tag. I hope it was a interesting set of choices. If you'd like to do the tag, please feel free. I'm not going to give anybody homework to do the tag. I had fun. It wasn't as difficult to pick these books as it has been for some of the tags I'm filming today, and that was nice. So, leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.